What's up, everybody? Welcome to another wonderful episode of Unleashing Empathetic Conversations. This is your host, Liz Gerardo, also known as the Empathetic Coach, owner and founder of Bridge Over Troubled Waters Elite Coaching. And Jasenia, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello. Hi, Liz. How are you, love? So, hey, everyone. Thank you for tuning in advance. We appreciate you being here again. This is Yesenia out of Long Island in New York. I'm the founder of Her Walk Is. It is a faith-based coaching business. And we help women by fueling their mindset to perceive life's challenges from the lens of faith. I'm an associate broker to a real estate company, and I am also a credit consultant, a mother of 3 amazing children. So I know a little bit of everything, and we're here to serve you today.
That's right. And I am a mother of 4, which most of you already know. 3 girls and 1 boy. And all right, so today we're going to be discussing women's health and the importance of prioritizing our health. That literally comes from the heart. It comes from the place of experience. Can't lie, I just had my own experience recently, and well, I'm going to share that with you tonight because our health is critical, very important. And we need to learn how to prioritize our health above all. I know that we are mothers and, daughters and sisters and, just on the go all the time. And so a lot of times we put our health on the back burner, but truth be told, sometimes, neglecting our health can result in some serious consequences. So, we want to make sure that we are prioritizing our health and making sure that we take care of ourselves so that we can take care of others and everyone around us, basically, because that would be, hey, Mrs. Charlotte Jordan, good evening. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. So as I was saying, how I guess on the plane when you go, and we always talk about that, right? That example of put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you take care of anybody else. Yeah. So, we have to remember that, and we have to remember that to do that in life and throughout life every single day, because we fall apart. Everything else around us falls apart at times. Yeah. So I did take some notes. I can start by sharing my story, or just if you want to jump in and say anything, share anything, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I'll just jump in here, and I'm glad for this episode because taking care of ourselves as women and even men, right? But this is for the women's health, and I know that we just got finished celebrating Women's History Month, and a lot of us are out here striving always to do better and be part of history one day, right? Where our children, our grandchildren, and their children can one day say, my grandma, my great grandma was about this, and we got to take care of ourselves. You know, we have a heart, a passionate heart to make impact and to leave legacy and to lay out firm foundations. And in order to do that, we do have to take care of ourselves. So I'm grateful for this episode. And I hope that the women that tune in, that they take note on the importance of everything that's going to be shared, the importance of different things that I don't want to tap into what I know Liz is going to cover, but I'm really grateful for this episode. I was sharing, for those of you tuning in, I was sharing with Liz right before we came on live, that today I was suffering with so much allergies. My eyes are swollen, and I typically don't have a history of suffering from allergies, but as we get a little older, you know, life gives us a little gifts sometimes, and we have to take them, but we have to take care of ourselves. We do. So this is really important, and I'm grateful for this episode today.
Awesome, Jasenia. Absolutely agreed. I mean, I'm not one to suffer allergies either, but I mean, things are creeping up, and I guess that's because we're creeping up there too, sadly enough. Um, but yeah, I mean, by the way, for those who are not seeing Christina on tonight, Christina's under the weather. Christina, we hope you feel better. We do miss you. And hopefully you can join us again next week. But I'm sure she's watching, so thank you, Christina. And I just before we get started, would you like to start off with a short prayer?
Okay. Absolutely. And we can't forget to give Christina her hearts, just in case she's tuned in and she'll catch this on the replay. We love you, Christina. So, Father, in the name of Jesus, Lord, we thank you. We thank you for life, health, and strength. We thank you yet for another opportunity to come before you and to serve anyone that is going to be tuning into the Unleashing Empathetic Conversations show, God. This is all to bring you glory. This is all to serve you first. And we're just grateful for what you're doing for us personally in our lives and for everyone that's going to be impacted by these episodes. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Don't mind my dog.
Amen, amen. Thank you. So let's start off real quick by sharing a brief story about what I went through just recently, right? So a couple of months ago, I had my annual. And, women's annual means, women get their pap smears and, get checked out, down there and do what they got to do. It's important to get those checkups, by the way, annually. I literally neglected mine for many, 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 and yeah, I'm serious, like many years. Horrible. Maybe because I'm somebody who suffers from autoimmune conditions and, several situations, several things. And so I get tired of going to the doctors all the time, and so there was a point in time where it was just like constant, constant, constant. And it was too much from one thing to another. And I get tired. So I just eventually I stop going. Um, you know, it's just too much. On top of everything else we have going on, we have to worry about all that too. So I stopped going, but I knew the importance of getting that done. I figured I was on the safe side. I kept getting the same results all the time, which were abnormal cells and, oh, but they're low risk, but you're okay. And, and all of that. And they never really did anything. I had a few biopsies. They all came out great, like not great, obviously they're, but it just came out as, oh, you're good. It's just abnormal cells. Just abnormal cells. Just abnormal cells become something later on. And if you don't take care of yourself, well, there you go. So for me, it was, I'm sorry. Did you hear that? That's my husband talking in the background. All right. So what I was saying, so a couple of months ago, I had my regular, and when I went this time, it was just a little bit different. The concern was a lot more and a lot, more of, all right, let's another biopsy. It's been a while. Okay. So I have another biopsy. Biopsy came back the same as usual, right? Low squamous, blah, blah, blah cells. And when that came back like that, the concern was still like a lot. n- more than the regular. It was just like, I think we should do like a different type of, more intensive biopsy. So went for another intensive biopsy because the problem was that there were some changes that were seen. But still, I was told it was low squamous cells. Okay, no problem. Next thing I know, that more intensive, um, the more intensive biopsy that I had ended up with me having to I got the same, "Oh, there are still low squamous cells, but the problem this time is that they're a little higher up than they normally would be," right? So, they were beyond that. They were like up in my cervix. And so, because of that, the concern was there's still some changes, and it's so far up. We want to make sure that you're okay and it's not going to turn into anything. So, we want to actually do a procedure. And that procedure then turned into, removing part of my cervix. Um, Now, I'll tell you honestly, at removing part of my cervix, I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. I'm not having any more kids. So, whatever, no problem. But okay, let's do this. I put it off for a month because it wasn't an emergency. So I just felt like I have other priorities to take care of and I want to do something or whatever. I had something to do and I decided, hey, let me put that off for a month. I'm fine. I can put it off for as long as I want to. And so I put it off for a month, handle my business, did what I had to do. That month is coming up. And what do? I'm thinking, I'm going to put it off for another month. Let me put it off because I had an important appointment that day. Early in the morning, it was like at 8 o'clock in the morning. I had a meeting that I needed to attend, and that meeting was very important to me as a mom because it had to do, it was a school meeting with my kid, with the school and my daughter and all that. So then, it's something that I had to be there for, and I didn't want to put the two together. So I'm still like, I can put this off. I can put this off. My husband's like, I think you've put it off long enough. It's time for you to start really like taking your health seriously. And I'm like, okay, I got you, got you. And then my daughter, my 23-year-old, she's like, no, if you can get it done now, do it now. I'm like, okay. And I'm still thinking, but I'm fine. They said it was low grade and I could do this. I could still put it off for this. It's not an emergency. Well, they both scared me. They made me feel like, all right, let me go get it done. I was able to attend the meeting in the morning because I made it such a priority to attend that meeting that I told my doctor and I told everybody I have the meeting and they were going to let me take the meeting in the hospital. I ended up taking it at home, whatever. Um, so here we are, the day of my surgery. Okay, procedure, surgery, yeah. Well, I had it done. No problem, right? Great. And all good. It's over, done with. Literally, I don't want to say great surgery because every woman is different. All of our chemistries are different. So I'm not going to say just because I was in no pain that you're going to be in no pain. If it happens, it happens. It's an intensive therapy procedure. So, removing part of your cervix. So here we are, and they do the surgery, yada yada. I was good, no pain, went through the recovery process. And next thing I know, a couple of weeks, so about a week and a half later, I go for my post-op. And the scariest thing is hearing that had you not gone for that procedure when you did, I could have been in a different situation 6 months from now or a year from now, you know, and I wouldn't have never known. Had I continued to put that off, I would have never known that, and what they didn't even know, because it took the procedure to learn that I'm actually very high grade. And I was in a situation where it was like, good choice. You did this now, and so it was a small area, thank goodness. It was just a small area. Had it been any bigger or further up, into my uterus or whatever, it would have been a whole different situation. But thankfully, it was just a small area, and it, it just put me in a zone to find out that I literally had high grade uh, pre or cancerous cells, whatever you want to call them, dysplasia, um, which is pretty critical because that right there was, it could have been an immediate turn for cancer. And had I ended up, with the cervical cancer without knowing that that's what was going on up there, and I really didn't know because there's no signs too early on. So just anyway, like, I mean, no signs. I did have some pelvic pain here and there. I was just going through the motions, and lo and behold, that's what was going on the whole time, and I didn't know. So when they removed part of the cervix, they were able to remove all the cells with it. It's not to say that it's not going to come back, right? She said, oh, it's not to say that it's not going to come back, because there is a possibility. However, we were able to remove the whole thing. So for now, you don't even have to worry about that for quite a while. And thank God that, I'm cancer free, right? It could have been a totally different situation.
That's powerful, Liz. Thank God that you took heed finally. Thank God that your husband, your daughter stepped in, because you're talking and I'm thinking, right? We're talking about women's health. We're talking about the body, but also our lives. And how much are we willing to push things off so much? Are we prepared for the risks that lie ahead every time we push things off? Push things off, push things off. We have goals that we set for ourselves and we push it off and we push it off because we count one thing more important than the other. And, I said before, for a lot of us who we know, there's this, sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes I have a conversation with God, right? And I say, uh, can I just, in a sense, be regular? And when I say regular, I mean not have this burning desire or this passion on the inside to want to make sure that everyone is okay. That if there's not, if maybe I don't put out a prayer one day, like I don't, today I'm just not feeling it, right? And then you have the person that calls you and say, hey, listen, thank you so much for every time you put out this or that. It actually helps me to keep going every day. And then I'm like, okay. And he says, I can't have you be regular. And there's actually not enough that you're doing based on what I've given you to do. And so we keep pushing things off and we keep pushing things off. And I think it was you the other day, we were together in maybe one of the rooms and on a different platform. For those of you that don't know, there's a platform, Clubhouse, and it's an audio app. And we go on there and we discuss different topics, and it's super powerful. And I believe it was you that shared, was it you that shared? It was Dr. Miles Monroe. Did I hear it on something else? And I think with him, he had shared that the richest place on earth is a cemetery. And, people die filled up with things that they were supposed to be emptied of while they were breathing. And how do we empty out of everything that was put on the inside of us if we're not willing to take care of ourselves? If we're not willing to be proactive on our annual exams. I'm guilty of it, right? I think my annual exam last year, we're talking women's health, y'all. So if you're listening, you're tuning in, let's be more disciplined in this. I went for an annual checkup. I think it was in October. By the grace of God, everything is normal, right? I'm healthy, like no high blood pressure, no high cholesterol. Blood work came back good. By the grace of God. Before that checkup, though, I hadn't gone to the doctor for 3 years, maybe. I think I was in the hospital in 2021. I went because I had kind of passed out right before I was going to an event that I was going to. And I wound up having an infection that needed to be dealt with. And it basically kind of took me out. Again, not going to doctor visits, not doing annual exams. And so you don't pay attention to this stuff. That put me out for a couple of days. So we got to be ever so careful. We got to be intentional about taking care of ourselves. Our families need us. The people that got assigned to us need us. I'm so glad that you took heed and you went and you took care of that, and that now you will be more strategic and intentional on going for your checkups, making sure, right? Because they give you that, this doesn't mean, because they got to put the disclaimers out. They got to cover themselves, right? Uh, and now you can say, you know what, let me be disciplined and always go for my checkups, because you can be proactive instead of us being reactive. And that's with everything in life. Let's be more proactive so we don't have to react so much to situations. So thank you for sharing that. So powerful, Liz.
Yeah, no, of course, absolutely. I mean, it's extremely important to get our checkups. And yeah, I mean, for me, it had been a lot longer than 3 years, and that was a valuable lesson learned, and you are so 100% correct. I mean, I heard you there. Like you said, the richest place in the world is the cemetery. You hear that all the time. It's so true. We don't take care of ourselves. And like you said, us women are constantly worrying about taking care of everybody else, or making sure that we are still on our feet no matter what. I mean, no matter what. And I mean, you can be under the weather and still going. I'm a little under the weather myself right now, and I'm still going. Yes, and that's just it's just life, right? And we just keep on going. And yeah, you're right. We have children, we have our families, and if we don't take care of ourselves, look where I almost would have ended up had I not listened, and had I continued to put it off. Oh, just another month. Oh, just another month. Oh, just another month. Before you know it, 6 months later, and then by the time I go, it would have been like, oh, um, Liz. You know what I mean? It was like that. So thank goodness. I thank God that I'm free and clear of that for the time being. But see, I'm in a zone. It put me in a zone for the entire day. It was a lot of mixed emotions, to kind of like hold on to and carry and think about, like, wow, this really, I was that close um, to a life-changing event, But goodness, I do want to share though for you all. It's important that we know, right? Most of us recognize that, as we've been saying, women are the bedrock for families and communities. And so it's super important that we do take care of ourselves. We represent the cornerstone of our family's overall health. We ensure that they have access to quality care themselves, right? We have to also make sure that we are taking care of ourselves so that we can continue taking care of them. I want to share, just so that you all know, right? The types, and for women, we are the reproductive beings in every in every household. We are the reproductive ones, right? We're the ones that reproduce. So, I mean, breast cancer, cervical cancer, which was where I was close to. Unfortunately, my older sister passed from uterine cancer, I believe it was. My family, ovarian cancer runs in my family, all of that. It's important to know your history, your family history as well, because listen, that's where it all rolls down the generations of, genetics. Important. There are tests now where you can do, and I don't know if you've heard of those, the tests where you can get those genetic testing done to see if you carry the gene for like breast cancer. I forgot what it's called, but they do that now, and I know I'm supposed to be getting that done. I'm kind of saved from one, but I'm supposed to be getting that done for everything else. So not sure if you ever heard of that, but that's important to get checked out.
I don't know, but I definitely want to look into that because the other day I was tuned into one of my mentors, a woman that I've been mentored by, and she even shared how important it is to just go to your doctor. Like, we get the blood work done, but there's specific blood requests that you should ask for that I believe I've never asked for. Hi, Wendy. Giving you a lot of love. Thank you for being here. Share, share, share. Um, and she said something about to be specific about asking for hormonal blood work to find out all the hormone changes in our bodies from, as we get older, and then the allergy blood work to see what your body is now allergic to that you might not be aware of. So I found that interesting. I was like, you know what? She's right. So I got to call my doctor and make that appointment. And just having this episode is holding me re-accountable because when I was listening to her speak, I remember telling the twins, guys, we got to go to the doctor. We got to get certain blood work done. We have, right? And you hear something and it kind of puts you in this we have to mode. And then we're having this episode and I really do just need, so hold me accountable, Liz. Ask me next week, hey, did you make the appointment that you wanted to make? Because I do want to find out, like even now with this feeling like I'm having allergies and the eyes are swollen and I'm sitting here talking super uncomfortable, super uncomfortable. So I just want to be able to, I want to, and I've been saying this for a couple of months now, I want to take care of myself the way my body needs it at this current age. And then as I continue to age, take care of my body the way that it needs. I have a father who's suffering from bone cancer now. My mom has type 2 diabetes. By the grace of God, she takes no insulin. And I don't say that lightly. My mother is blessed. My mother got very disciplined, changed her lifestyle, dieting, and all that. And my mother eats what she wants. I'm telling you, she eats what she wants, but she adds different drinks that my father makes her that's specifically for what she has. And God bless her. She's, but we gotta know what's in our families, like you said. We do. We gotta be intentional about taking care of ourselves. We really do.
Yeah, family history is extremely important. And we need to, like you said, discipline ourselves there because, man, I mean, Jasania, I'm going to hold you accountable because it could be a completely different story. We have to learn how to listen to our bodies. Our bodies do speak to us and they tell us like something is wrong. We have to be attuned to that because if we're not, we're just ignoring the signs that could be leading to something so much worse, you know? Exactly. I just want to give a shout out to Junior. Hey, JR, how are you? Thank you for joining. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to see you there. That's my wonderful friend, JR. Say hello to Carla. Love Carla. Love JR. Thank you. And blessings to you as well. Hey, Wendy, beautiful lady. Thank you for joining. And Charlotte Jordan had a question that I would like to address. How do you ladies handle stress? Because I know so many women who are very stressed, but it takes a toll on them mentally, physically, and emotionally. Charlotte Jordan touched on a top. Actually, I wrote on that. Let me go real quick and I'm going to just read it because I wrote this down and it was perfect. It was perfect. So, managing your stress, listen to this. Stress is a major cause of inflammation. Many women are juggling working in and outside of the home and raising children while also caring for spouses and family members, such as elderly parents. To ensure overall health, it's important to address the mind body connection and take time for yourselves. Ooh, that's something that I needed to learn, and I learned the hard way. So, engaging in regular exercise, I mean, I don't exercise because of my autoimmune conditions. And sometimes in the exercising, my body thinks that I literally ran 10 miles for a simple walk down the block. And it's my body just rejects it. But it is important to remember that physical activity is also important for your health. You should include a mix of strength training and cardio exercises. Walking is that's a cardio exercise right there. So even just taking a walk, I'm told that every time I go visit my doctor, it's the same thing. A walk, and I'll just finish that part with being aware of the importance of nutrition, educating yourself on what constitutes healthy eating is critical for overall health and well being. Many people think that they are making a good choice if the label says fat free, right? For example, but that's not the case. Healthy fats are an important part of the diet. You need a well balanced diet of whole, unprocessed foods. And so I just want to say that that was very on point for her to ask that question because it is so important. I've learned to listen to my body when it comes to stress. I cannot I cannot handle it. I can't. I've come to the point where my body shuts down when and I feel it. I literally my body tells me that's enough. And because I know that I've come to that point in my life where the stress makes me sick, I just that I'll just put it this way. I have learned how to team up with my husband enough that my husband now handles the most difficult parts of parenting because when it comes to stress, I feel it heavily and I run from it because I know what it does to my body. So for me, I'll explain how I handle stress is just I mean even though I'm stressed every day, I'm not going to lie because I work um I have my kids, I have my show. This it's a lot. We're doing a lot, right? So how I handle stress besides running from it is that I literally just learn how to just all right, I got to disconnect. I just disconnect, go to my room, take a nap or just spend some time by myself or work on something that I love, give myself those things and remember that as much as I want to handle it all, I have to learn how to give it up. You want to handle it all. Somebody that's always handling it all wants to continue handling it all. And it becomes it's like a control factor, because you're so used to doing it all. And if I don't do it, it's not going to get done right, you know? So I am so like, okay, I got to back up. I need to take a deep breath and relax, because listen, my health is my wealth. And in order for me to continue living and being there for everybody, I have to learn how to just and my husband is on cue. Like and on cue, I don't have to say anything. He's the one that stops me. He's like really quick, babe, that's it. Just I got this. Back up. Like that's it. You're done. And I'm just like, all right, you know. But that's how I handle stress. Everybody's different. Desanya, how do you handle stress? I'm curious.
Yeah, so stress is it's funny, right? Because people always like they emphasize stress almost as a negative all the time. And stress is inevitable in life. Because if you are having this human experience, right? Because I count myself as a spiritual being first. Spiritual being having a human experience and having this human experience, stress is unavoidable. It's unavoidable as a woman, as a man, is unavoidable as a parent, is unavoidable in your profession. Stress is inevitable. So the way I handle it is understanding that stress is a part of life. So instead of taking it on and speaking, have I done it in the past? Sure, right? We say things like, I feel so stressed. I can't remember the last time I said that because I have trained myself to not say different things like, because stress is a part of life. Life is going to be stressful. Just this morning, I had a stressful experience with one of my daughters, and I handled it very patiently, where I could have lost my patience and because it challenged me, but I handled it with a lot of patience, a lot of grace, and it left me in a more peaceful state. It was like hurtful in a sense, but then I addressed it in love, and then we got through it. And by the time I dropped her off to work, I said, I love you so much. She's like, I love you, Mom. And that was it. uh had I handled it differently, I would have stressed myself out, I would have stressed her out, I would have stressed my day out. And I may not have been in a position where I'll be submitting an offer by the grace of God, right? Because we shape our days by the way we handle different circumstances, by the way we speak to different matters. And then what could have been something so simple, we made it this humongous thing and we stressed ourselves out when we could have just been. So I'm not just saying this. I handle my stress because I intentionally move in a very patient manner. I intentionally do that for myself so that I can keep myself at peace. So if I'm patient, I'm peaceful, I'm graceful, because you don't want to see uh, Yesenia in her impatient state, Yesenia in her space of I'm about to lose it. You don't want to see her. I don't even like her. So I'm very intentional on keeping her under subjection. How do I do that? By understanding that my spiritual being overpowers my human being. So I tap into that, and then I say things like, God, I thank you for making me so patient. I don't ask God for patience. I just thank him for making me patient. And I do that because if I ask him for patience, may just give me another test to test how patient I am. So I just think make me a patient person, and then I walk in that. And it's a real thing, y'all. Like this is the way I move on a day-to-day basis. And when I catch myself off because I move like this, my children will remind me of it. So if they see like I'm about to get myself stressed, or they're like, wait, mom, don't you say, and then they'll remind me of it. So it's so important to show them not only what you say, but walk in it so much so that they can be reminded of it. So Charlotte, thank you. Miss Charlotte, thank you for that question. But yeah, stress is inevitable. And if we can manage it strategically with a lot of patience and just understand that it is a part of life, we won't let it affect us mentally and physically and emotionally. Physically is huge, right? And we're talking about women's health. And I think because I manage stress so well mentally and emotionally because of the way I show up in it, Liz, and for everyone that's listening, it's by default where I think my physical takes it in, because it's hard to manage it all, if you can understand what I'm saying. So because I'm so intentional about making sure that I don't lose my mental, I don't lose myself emotionally in the stress, my body may feel it. So hence you'll feel the headache, you'll feel the backache. There's different things that, because your body feels the stress that you are with taking, you're just not reacting to it in a way that most would. So health is important. Taking care of your physical is so important, because if you can manage stress emotionally, mentally, and everything, and you're taking care of your physical, then man, you're ahead of the game. You're just ahead of the game. So thank you for that question.
Awesome response, girl. You had me laughing because, truth be told, there was a time where I did not handle stress emotionally and mentally well at all. There have been times when I've been in a very dark place, and I will have to say that. By the grace of God, I was able to come out of it. And like you said, girl, I don't pray for patience, because if we do, we will be tested. And don't test me with patience, because I will not pass that test. No, exactly. I can't. No, I won't pray for it. I'll just be thankful for it, but I won't pray for it. Exactly. Um, but yeah, no, it's so important to remember that, like you said, emotionally, mentally, at one point, oh man, it was out of control, out of control. But I've learned to be in a place of, even though all my life I've been more of a worry free, like I don't like to worry about things that I can't control. you know it can't control it, why worry about it? And so that's just the attitude that I've always had. But there are things that you want to take control over, so you start to worry about that because you desperately want that control over certain things. And it's so crazy that we can become that way sometimes with certain things. I'm so glad that I've grown beyond that. A lot of lessons in life, valuable lessons in life, that I've grown from so much that I'm now at a point where you want to walk out the door, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Yeah. Oh man, I'm a riot, but I literally have come to that extent of I don't need the stress. You can keep it. you know, I mean, I remember times where my husband would tell me, like, I don't know how you don't worry about the bills and you don't worry about this. I'm like, why am I going to worry? Because they're not going to stop coming. You know, if I can't make it, I can't make it. And it's like, what? Now, if I can't make it, I can't make it. I'm not going to worry about it and be like, oh my God, I got to pay this. I got to pay this. No. Yeah, it's like, bro, like, sorry, but, and it's not that it's like just carelessly, I don't feel like taking care of it. It's just like if I can't stress myself out. Like, oh my God, where am I going to get this? Before you know it, you're having palpitations and, all, you're so worried. We can't do that. It's like, Lord, thank you because you provide, Lord, thank you because it's going to get paid and it got paid, like, so a lot of people may question my faith, but my faith is where it's at because I've seen what God's done for me. And I am so grateful for moments where, like, when before I started, I've been 4 years at my job now, almost 4 years in June. But before that, it was my husband who was the main provider, and I was just, businesses here and there, and the house. I had to get the kids in the house, and and now the roles have switched quite a bit, right? But in the beginning, it was like, oh my goodness, how are we gonna make it? When he wasn't working at his other job anymore, and it was like, whoa, like, this is big because it was different. But you know what, I focused on him. I focused on making sure that he didn't get depressed, that he didn't get stressed out, and I carried that for him, because it was like a man who's used to working and holding down his household and providing for all these years, 20 plus years, and all of a sudden you're not doing that. And it's like, well, hey, it's not about me, it's about him right now. I got to carry him. I got to make sure he doesn't fall into depression, or I'm not going to stress him out. It's like, no, don't worry about it, we got this. you know so I held on to that, and it's to keep him from falling under into a world of where he might have gotten sick physically as well, or what have you. So, you know, before you knew it, God was like, I got you. I got you. Here's some money here, here's some money there. And money just starts showing up. And I'm like, hey, yeah, keep it coming. But it had always been my dream to retire him at some point, because I was like, whoa, he's just provided so much for us, and I want to be able to retire him so that he can now spend time with the kids, something that he missed out on as they were growing up. So I'm so grateful that I'm in a place where, and he's a plumber. He does plumbing here and there. He gets his contracts here and there. He's doing what he's doing, and it's amazing, because he's so good at it too. And then I thank God because he's so knowledgeable. But thank God, also thank my stepfather, showed him all of that throughout the years. But so he was able to continue doing that. And for me, now working full time, and carrying a lot of the weight, and I'm like, it feels good because I feel like I'm living the dream that I wanted, where it was retire him and give him a break, give him the opportunity to spend time with the kids, give him an opportunity to be there when they need him, or and we're living that, and I just love it. I love it, and that doesn't stress me out. Actually, I'm enjoying every minute of it, and I hope that he is too, because we have come such a long way from and have learned life in so many different ways. But I mean, going back, this is talking about women's health, right? I went off on a tangent, but this is what stress does. Like, I worried about keeping his health straight, and all of that, so that he didn't get depressed. But and here I am, but I love it, and I'm not stressed. I'm pretty much enjoying every minute of it because, you know, I get the opportunity of doing something for me as well, you know. And I didn't have that opportunity when you're a mom and you're just, taking care of all the kids, taking care of the house, and taking care of the husband, and running around here and there, it nonstop, right? That was the stress that I was going through as well at the time. And now I don't have to do all of that, but that stress, that at some point it did take some type of toll on me, and my physical and my mental and my emotional, and sometimes just tired and just leave me alone. And you know but continuing with that whole women's health, and so thank you, Charlotte, for bringing that up, because stress affects all of us in so many different ways, and mentally, physically, and emotionally. Even though, like, the way she said it's different ways, different types. And you said that you handle your mental and emotional so well that you take the hit physically, right? Right. So that's also, and that's kind of like the silent triggers, those are the silent, that's what affects us silently. And that's why it's important to remember to, all right, you know what, I can handle emotional, I can handle mental, but I have to take care of my health. Yeah, my physical health. you know Remember that I handle my emotional and my mental as well now better than I ever did, you know and I neglected my physical health, and look what happened to me. you know and I'm still dealing with health issues, but it's important that I continue to manage the stress so that the physical health continues to just at least be managed well, because if I let the stress get to me, my physical health was affected negatively. And so for you, same thing, Jasenia. You're on the go all the time. You're a mom on the go. I know you. I see you with your 3 kids, with your business in real estate, with your clubhouse shows, with your Her Walk Is business. You're on the go. And it's important that you realize that you also need to slow down, because if you don't slow down, your body's going to slow you down on purpose.
It's so true. And I can't take lightly, guys, and I won't say this lightly because God is faithful. I don't take anything. No vitamins, no supplements. I take nothing. I drink a lot of water. I have about 4 cups of coffee a day. I eat pretty healthy, thank God. Um, I follow my father's instructions once in a while when he tells me, hey, make this drink for you and the girls. It's good for women's health. My father's big on that. Um, and I don't really want to start taking anything. Hence why I want to be that much more intentional about my health and making sure that everything stays balanced, that I don't get too weighty at one point. And for me, weight is not healthy or sick, right? Because you could be a heavy set person and be healthier than a skinny person, right? Health is what's healthy for you. How do you feel your best? I know for me, and I can be transparent, I get out of breath putting my socks on now. And I'm like not the heaviest person, but right now I may be too heavy for my body structure, to be honest. We all know if I go to the doctor now, they're probably going to mark me down as an obese person, right? And I'll be like, what? But it's because there's specific charts, right? For your height, your age, and all that good stuff. So we want to be able to feel comfortable. We want to be able to be okay when I take my dog out, that I don't come in and I'm out of breath because I'm like, oh my gosh, Jax. But again, I don't take anything, y'all. I really don't. I drink a lot of water. I definitely drink a lot of water. If I'm drinking by bottles, I have about maybe 5 to 6 bottles of water a day. So I do drink a lot of water, because our bodies are made up of water. And thankfully, I love water. And I don't add anything to my water. I drink water. Um, and I eat pretty good. Like I do eat pretty good. I'm not like the worst eater. And then I do have my things that I love so much, right? But I do detoxes. I detox quarterly. So there's different things that I do. I don't take, people tell me, what kind of vitamins do you take? Your skin is so clear and I'm like, guys, like these are my natural nails. I love milk. There's just things that I do, and people say, "What kind of vitamins do you take?" I'm like, "I don't take any vitamins, guys." And they're like, "What? What supplements do you take?" I'm like, "I don't take anything." They're like, "How old are you?" And I say I'm 44. They're like, "You don't take no type of women's supplements or anything?" And they're like, "You should be taking this. You should be taking that." And I'm like, "I don't take anything." And I'll make notes sometimes of things people recommend I should be taking at my age, but I've yet to take any of it. I don't know that maybe it'll be wise to take it, or to just keep taking care of myself and drinking what my father tells me to drink and stuff like that. All in all, though, take care of yourselves. Women health is so important. We're so, 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 so needed. And just because I don't take anything, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't, right? I'm just saying it for me, like, and if you have recommendations, Liz, I don't know. I really don't, though. And I'm saying this because all of last month I got the question multiple times. Hey, what do you take? What do you do? And if I was on FaceTime call with someone, oh my gosh, your skin is so clear. And I'm like, wow, thank you. God is faithful. They're like, what vitamins do you take? I'm like, I don't take any vitamins. They're like, really? And I said, no, I don't. And I really don't. And neither do my daughters. I just don't know that that's the right way to go. So I don't know. But yep.
Oh my goodness. And I laugh because, and I just thought about this when you're like, God is faithful. What kind of vitamins do you take? God is faithful. Like, that's my vitamin. What's it? God is faithful. That's and He really is. He really is, because He keeps us going. He keeps us going. I'll tell you, for me, I know vitamin D is huge, huge, huge. I have a unique chemistry in my body. My body does not like iron. My body spits it out, doesn't keep it in. For a few years, I've had iron infusions. That's also for my energy and for my, autoimmune conditions. And I had no problem with iron infusions for 3 years. October 2019, I go for another iron infusion, a 3-week treatment that I was sent for. I go, I sit there, no problem. I'm doing my thing, reading, going through my phone, and just sitting there getting the infusion. And next thing I know, I'm having trouble breathing. I'm like, what the heck? But I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was just me. So I would just take a deep breath, and it kind of hurt. It was like that pressure, the breathing. I was like, and like, what's going on? Next thing I know, like, I'm looking at it. The iron was gone. The venifer for the iron infusion was gone. I was already all the way up in there, and what was left was just the what's that called? The IV, the water IV or whatever it's called. Yeah, the liquid IV. So boom, that's I'm just waiting for that to finish. But I'm like having trouble breathing. So I get up now and I'm like, maybe I just need to walk around. So I'm walking around, and I'm like, and then something just starts to hit me, and it's like, no, you're really having trouble breathing. Say something, you know? So boom, I'm like, I said to the kid that was sitting there, he's one of the employees, clerical. I'm like, excuse me, can you get the nurse? Like, I think I'm having trouble breathing, All right, I'll be right back. So he leaves and I sit down. The nurse comes and I'm like, you can take it out. I think I'm done, So she goes to take it out, and then I think I let her stress me out, because she goes to, she takes it out, and then she noticed that there was like a little red spot. And she's like, and then she looks again and she goes, can I see your arm? She runs off without saying anything. I look at my arm. I went into full-blown panic mode. Now I really can't breathe, and I'm screaming, nurse! Nurse! I'm like screaming at the top of my lungs. I can't breathe. I literally almost died in that office. I had a whole anaphylactic reaction to the iron infusion that I had not had any reaction to at all for like 3+ years. And that day, it hit me and it hit me hard. I remember looking at the officer's shoes because, they every called paramedics and everything. And I'm just staring at his shoes because they also injected, I think it was like, Benadryl, and my body can't do Benadryl. So they injected Benadryl to kind of, bring down, and I start to feel it and like heat coming. I'm like, what did you give me? And she's like telling me what she gives me. I'm like, oh my God, why didn't you tell me? And I'm like, I can't take that. And I'm like, I'm already going, and I'm just like, okay, I gotta stay alive. So I'm looking at the officer's shoes and just staring at him. Okay, as long as I see his black shoes, I'm alive. As long as I see his black shoes, I'm alive. That's how I kept myself going. Had I passed, I don't even know what I would have gone through, but I was on the verge of like just going. But that's how our bodies, you know, change as we get older. That I never had an allergic reaction. Bam, that was the worst experience I had. Or at worst, and now I walk around with an EpiPen. Go figure. But let me tell you something, Yesenia, like you said, the vitamins, you don't take any, and my body spits them out because just doesn't keep them in. So I take like 50,000 units of vitamin D a week. Without that, I feel drained, like drained completely. So vitamins are important, not for nothing. Just always look into, where you're getting them from and stuff like that, because sometimes, some are not as good as they seem, or, I like to be a little bit more natural about things because you just don't know what you're putting in your body anymore these days. But yeah, extremely important to remember that. Yeah, give into that. I know that the show is coming to an end soon, but I did want to share a few things because, again, we were talking about women's health, right? And for us women, we have to remember, to manage our stress, as Mrs. Jordan shared, with her question. It was such a great question because that's important, right? When we don't manage our stress, it affects us in so many other ways, including physically, right? But when we don't take care of our own physical health, we are deteriorating our own bodies. We have to take care of ourselves before, taking care of anyone else, because we are the forefront. We are right there. We are the ones. If we don't do it, like, that's not to say nobody else is going to do it, but I'm just saying, like, if we don't take care of our health, we're not going to last long enough to take care of our families. So this is a procedure that I had, was a LEAP procedure, right? The condensation or whatever, it was a LEAP procedure. But I wanted to just address certain things about health, right? Among healthcare providers, they often regarded as the chief medical officers. We are often regarded, us women are usually regarded as the chief medical officers of our home and the gatekeepers of our families, right? When it comes to our own health, we have been neglected because we also neglect ourselves. So we have to learn how to also come forward and, hey, I'm feeling like this, and I need this. Like, it's important for us to come and be our own advocates, and so that we're not neglected, because if we neglect ourselves, everybody neglects us. If we disrespect ourselves, everybody disrespects us. I'm so huge on that, is how you treat yourself, everybody will treat you. And we got to remember that, be our own advocates. So when it comes to our own health, right, don't let doctors neglect us. Go in there, and we need to demand our own care as well. So, all right. So I address gynecological issues like the cancers and stuff like that. So, there's so many different types. I addressed the cervical issue because that was my recent experience, and I wanted to share that with you all, being that we are talking about women's health and all of that. But let's remember also that there are other cancers, uterine cancer, colorectal cancer, endometrial cancer, ovarian cancer, breast cancer, skin cancer, lung cancer, all these things. And we have to take care of ourselves, right? See your doctors for your annual exams and screenings for cancer, including pap smears and mammograms. You know, as I said, breast cancer is another one. It's pretty huge, actually. Manage your stress, engage in regular exercise. Remember that while we are the forefront of our homes, right, we are also the examples that our children follow. We are their school. What children learn what they live. I always say that, right? And I stress that highly. If we don't take care of ourselves, they're going to learn not to take care of themselves, right? So let's remember that. And I know that it feels like it was a short show. I don't know why. For me, I felt like it's been an hour already. But I enjoyed today's conversation. I had a good time. I don't know about you, but I did. And next week we'll come with something else. Do you have any final thoughts that you would like to share?
Well, again, just emphasizing, right, to take your health seriously, ladies. Um, if you know a friend, a family member, if you have daughters, just be intentional about making sure that we're making these doctor appointments. Liz is going to hold me accountable on the appointment that I want to make, because I do believe it's important to know, and be proactive, right? To see what we're allergic to. There may be something that my body might reject that I'm not even aware of, and maybe I haven't even had it yet, right? So that goes for everyone. Get your blood work done, get your exams done, ladies. This was a good episode. I really enjoyed myself as well, even though I'm not 100% up to par. Like, I literally can't wait to take a nice shower and just literally chill, because I literally feel like I'm fighting something, if it's the allergies or something, whatever it is. But I enjoyed being here with you. I enjoyed being here with you. This was so important, this episode. I would that everyone that listens, that they take heed and that they be intentional in taking care of themselves. So we love you all. And for Christina, again, we give you our hearts. We missed you here today. We can't wait to be with you next week for sure.
Definitely, definitely, Christina. We do miss you, and we look forward to having you back next week. I just want to say, Jasenia, thank you so much. And yes, I will hold you accountable because we want you for a long time, right? Stick around. And again, thank you all, for joining us. We love you all. We appreciate having you all. Please share, like, subscribe, share the whole 9 yards. You know how that goes. We are here for you every Saturday live at 7 p.m. live on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, you name it. We are here. And so if there's a topic that you are interested in hearing about, if there's something that you want us to talk about, please share it with us. We are here for you. We also have a Facebook group called Unleashing Empathetic Conversations. Look for it on Facebook. It's visible. Join, answer the questions so that we can get to know you and you can be a part of our group. And that's pretty much it. I've enjoyed this show. I've enjoyed being here with you guys. Looking forward to next week's show. And, you can look for me on Unleashing Empathetic. The Empathetic Coach on YouTube. Right now, you can also find me on the Uncle Junior Network and, of course, Facebook, the Unleashing Empathetic Conversations. All right, Jasenia, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you being here. And thank you. Thank you all. We look forward to seeing you next week, 7 p.m. every Saturday. Love y'all.